Hello there and welcome to another edition of Engineering and You, a program that brings to you proven engineers that have done well for themselves and have had experience all over the place, and they are here to encourage young people to go into the field of engineering, because when the engineering profession is top-notch, the nation will move to being a developed nation. My name is Tunde Olaniro, and this program is sponsored by Prince Engineer Yemisi Shillong, FNSE, and we are here to, it's a very interactive one, not just a monologue, it's a dialogue where you get to also talk to us, answer our questions, and ask our guests the question. So for today, the question for today is, what is the locus of point equidistance from 2 points? What is the locus of point equidistance from 2 points? If you know the answer, please pick up your phone. In due time, the phone lines will be on your screen, so you can call us. Also, you can also drop your answers on all of our various social media handles. I can assure you that if you get it correctly, you get a prize courtesy of our sponsor, Prince Engineer Yemisi Shillong, FNSE. So my guest is already seated, he's already in the house, so we'll take this very short break. When we return, I'll let you know who he is and the topic he'll be discussing with us. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Glad to know that you are still there. My guest for today is Engineer KAYODE ADENIJI, FNSE. He was the chairman of Nigeria Set of Engineers Benin branch 2007 to 2010. 3 times chairman, I must say, and is a member of the Elders Advisory Committee of NSC Abeokuta branch. And he will be discussing with us today science, engineering, technology, Panacea to nation's development. Welcome to Engineering and You, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good evening. Yes.
All right. So you have the opportunity. I'll hand over to him any moment from now. But you just whatever question you want to ask, please. You can't answer my question until you have asked him a question. So you have to, when you call in or when you send your message, ask him your question. Then you get to answer my question and claim the prize. So, Engineer ADENIJI, sir, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers, once again. Yeah, topic for today is simply science, engineering, and technology, Panacea to nation's development. The presentation or discourse is not a postulation of any new theory, hypothesis, or idea. It is an attempt to emphasize what ordinarily should be obvious. We need to emphasize the norm so that we can get our upcoming and aspiring scientists, engineers, and technologists to know that the world indeed is theirs to conquer. No nation can develop without promotion, development, and advancement of science, engineering, and technology. Let me add here that the difference between Washington, D.C. and Abuja is technology. The difference between Lagos and London and Paris is engineering. The difference between Kaduna, Port Harcourt, Abuja, Abeokuta, and Dubai and Manchester is simply science, engineering, and technology, orchestrated by systematic designs, production, manufacturing, industrialization, researches, mechanized farming, good health, and many other inventions. Well, let me attempt to describe some of the terms we're going to use this evening. Science. This is simply the study of natural and serial world through observations and experiments following a systematic methodology based on evidence. Engineering is simply the science of the arts of harnessing natural resources to create wealth by making humanity convenient in their day-to-day life, and thereby creating wealth for individuals as well as the nations. Technology is the aggregation of the use and application of knowledge, skills, tools, and materials for good effects. You can see that if you harness engineering, if you harness natural resources very well, the individuals will be rich, and by extension, the nation will be very rich. And if I can extend it, what do we mean by Panacea is simply a solution. So what we're discussing today is that the solution to the wealth of a nation, the solution to the growth of a nation, the solution to the industrialization and development of a nation is simply engineering, sciences, and technology. Every nation endeavors to attain greatness and development. Science and engineering are centripetal and centrifugal forces that drive the improvement in the welfare of developing states. Science, engineering, and technology exalt a nation. Together they are sine qua non for growth and development. There's a direct correlation between science, education, and the growth and development of a nation. What is development, by the way? Development means different things to different people. The common definition, however, is striving to become what industrialized countries are today. The example of Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew and Singapore can be cited. His book, From Third World to First, elucidates what Singapore was able to do in 30 years. And he said very clearly that there's no country that can develop by accident. Development is envisioned, planned, strategized, and executed. Of course, engineers, scientists, and technologists drive the project better. Some people argue that Nigeria is a rich country. The answer is an emphatic no. We're not wealthy at all. We have the human resources. Yes. We have the natural resources. We can say we are potentially a rich nation only if we can engineer our natural resources for wealth creation. I'll give you an example. We are a nation of 220 plus, and all we can do is between 1.2 million and maximum of 1.5 million barrels of crude oil. Saudi Arabia produces 9 million barrels of crude oil, and they are a nation of 32 million heads. Did you get it right? 1.2 million barrels for 220 nations, 220 heads of a nation. Saudi is only 32 million human heads per population, and they generate 9 million barrels of crude. You can see the correlation that we are not rich because we are not able to harness our natural resources further. That's only crude oil. Good. Only 2 companies out of the first 10 countries, the first 10 companies in Silicon Valley in a state in America, one state, state of California, only 2 companies, Apple and Microsoft. They have market value in excess of $500 million. Now, all African countries put together have stock value above half of that. Only 2 companies in a state in America, right, have market value of over $500 million. That's Apple and Microsoft. The whole countries in Africa, 52 plus, our stock value as of 2023 is about half of that. In other words, a part of a state in America is richer than all African countries. So, and what do they do? What assisted them is technology, engineering. Who are the owners of Silicon Valley? It's a university. University and some other things, Stanford University and other interested organizations. That's why we say, if you neglect research in science, engineering, and technology, we can hardly walk, talk less of running, and talk less of flying. So Nigeria is a crippled nation. Other third world countries are crippled nations until and unless we imbibe and we seriously take science, engineering, and technology. And that's why the essence of this program is to encourage our young guys, young people, to know that, look, the whole world is at your feet. There is no way we can run away from development. We are going to get there. We will get there. We are moving. But only we are just scrolling. And the people that can make it work are people who are vast and well developed in science and engineering and technology. Now, common indices of development. Indices of development are acceleration of industrial growth. Of course, to accelerate industrial growth, engineers and technologists are the key players. Reduction in inequality, that is redistribution of wealth of a nation. Infrastructures, who does that? We are impressed, the red line and the blue line of Lagos. This is what we could have done since 1979. 1979 was when I just entered higher school, and I left about over 40 years ago. But I don't want to go into that. Where we could have been 1979, that's some 46 years ago, 45, 46, 45 years ago, is where we are now. The politics is not right. The politics is not right. The policies are not right. Emphasis should be on science, engineering, and so that is infrastructure. Then the massive mechanized agriculture. I like to use Dubai example. Dubai sometimes don't have rain at all the whole year. If they have rain once or twice a year, the whole city, Dubai is not a country, Dubai is a town like Abeokuta. The whole city will celebrate. The emirs will come out. If they have rain, only one rain, yet they have food in self-sufficiency. Self-sufficient in food, and they even export food. How do they do it? Science of irrigation. Well, it's very deep. Poverty alleviation, economic viability, military might, peaceful and cooperative world, better life, and ultimately better world order. Those are the common indices of development. How much of that do we have in Nigeria? How much of that do we have in Africa? You can see that without science, we are just groping in darkness. It's like winking your eyes in darkness. What makes a nation great? What makes a nation great? A nation can only be great if science is developed, if engineering is developed, if technology is developed, if the economy is right, if the finance is good, if the agriculture, food sufficiency and export is good, if the investment is good, infrastructure development excellent, and of course, military might. Those are what makes a nation tick. 8 of them. I go into national development. What are the indices? GDP, gross domestic product. I gave an example of one country producing 1.2 million barrel for 220 million people, as against another country that has only that produces 9 million barrel for only 32 million population. That's where the GDP of a country comes in. The Human Development Index. The 3 major things in Human Development Index is the health, the education, and the standard of living of the personnel. Where are we in health? Where are we in education? Where are we in the standard of living? The only thing that can nest all this things properly is development in research and education and propagation of science, engineering, and technology. Life expectancy. Nigeria life expectancy now is maybe, I don't know whether it should be about less than 50 by now. So in other countries we have 70 life expectancy. If you live well, you will die. You won't die by accident. Everybody will die. That is inevitable. But the life expectancy should be good if the economy is good. Infant mortality is almost non-existent in most of those good countries. You can't see babies being born dead or something like that. But here, we know what happens. Of course, balance of payments, balance of trade of the nation, and the purchasing power parity. Not to talk of the inflation. Inflation in Nigeria now should be over 37%. Some countries are in the digits of less than 10. So you have inflation 37, 38, the signs are not good. And why is it so? It's because we are not industrialized. It's because we don't manufacture. It's because we don't produce. We just consume and consume and consume. There is no other way, no shortcut. The sine qua non for growth is engineering, development, and engineering growth and technology, so that things can move better, especially food sufficiency, export, and so on and so forth, and technology and infrastructure as well. Well, finally, I like to say a few things. Number one, there's no nation that can develop without developing science, engineering, and technology. There's no nation that can survive without sufficient research in science education. Engineering is life and livelihood. No nation develops beyond her engineering values. Industrialized nations boast of several inventions that make them rated as world powers. A nation without science and engineering development is a backward nation, and such a nation will remain underdeveloped. Modernity comes with scientific discoveries, and development of science and technology, education, and research is a tool for rapid development. The difference between a developed economy and undeveloped or underdeveloped one is science, technology, and engineering, and as well as their application. So you need to engineer resources to create wealth. You need to engineer resources to produce. You need to engineer resources to manufacture. We have limestone. Unless the limestone is there, unless you engineer the limestone to produce cement. You have crude oil. You to be able to even extract the crude from where it is, you have to do a lot of engineering work, exploration, and refining. Okay. That's re-engineering nature for wealth. Production. If you don't produce and continue to consume, your balance, you'll just be importing. You'll not be exporting. And when you are importing and you're not exporting, you have deficit balance of payment. And when you have deficit balance of payment, you will not be okay.
Okay.
So
we have a caller. Glory from Owe. Hello, Glory.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, Glory.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Glory. How are you doing? How is Moe today?
Fine, sir.
All right. You have to ask my guest a question to answer my question. So go ahead.
So, we want to ask that you said that technology is different between developed and developed countries. So I want to ask that the technology that is developed.
Oh, we lost Glory there. If you can call back before the end of the program, please, Glory, please do. All right, you please continue, sir.
Yeah, I was talking about harnessing natural resources for creation of wealth. I spoke about cement, for instance. I spoke about
Crude oil.
crude oil and refined crude oil. First and foremost, you need engineering to do the exploration and whatever. Then again, you need engineering to do the, after getting the crude, you need engineering to do the refining. After refining it, you have added value to it. But, I mean, those are two products. Everything, I mean, you have to manufacture cars, vehicles. There was a time we were manufacturing, we were assembly cars here, Volkswagen in Lagos, Fiat, Leyland, Steyr in Enugu, and so on and so on. Other companies are doing batteries, they are doing car seats, windscreen, car shield, windshield, the whole components. That's where the country was thick. Even Dunlop and the other world, what was it? Michelin, they are producing tires here in Nigeria. They got their raw materials in somewhere in Bender State in those days. That's Midwest, former Midwest, Bender, then Edo and Delta. They got their rubbers and process it. Processing of the rubber is adding value to it, and they make their tires. So the components of the cars are here. You get the tires from Dunlop, from our products in Edo, Delta. You get the car stereos or whatever in Ibadan. You get the windshield from somewhere, and so on and so forth.
Glory is back. Hello, Glory. All right, please go ahead with your question very quickly because our time is almost up.
So the technology that distinguishes America from the nation is not only the technology of invention.
Glory, I can hardly hear your question.
Oh shit.
Glory, the network is bad. I can hardly hear you. Maybe you have to try again. Before my guest go, because our time is up, we have to go now. I want to ask where, now you have shown us the problem, and engineering is said to be a profession where you solve problems. Now, so many problems, where can a young mind, a secondary school leaver as it is, where can they fit in solving this problem going forward?
We are encouraging secondary school leavers to go into engineering, to take their sciences and mathematics very seriously, and write their school certificate and pass in good grade. They study engineering, study science. The future is theirs. They have the world to conquer. You know, it cannot be all this bad.
All right. Hello, Glory. All right, just go ahead and answer my question because our time is up. We have to go.
The answer of the question is the perpendicular trajectory of the line segment joining this point.
All right, Glory, I'll let you know in a matter of minutes if you are correct or not. Thank you so much for joining us. We have to go. Our time is up. I want to say a big thank you to my guest, Engineer KAYODE ADENIJI, FNSE. Thank you so much. You really made our day and added so much value to the program today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah,
and I want to say a big thank you to you for watching, for always watching every Friday. And thank you to our sponsor, Prince Engineer Shilon, FNSE, for making us appear before you every Friday. Now, Glory, from the way you are correct, you got the answer correctly. Perpendicular bisector of the lines segment between the 2 points. So you can call this number 0703-161-1497, 0703-161-1497 to claim your prize, courtesy of our sponsor. Also, for the question for the week, as we go along, how many times do we have solstice in a year? How many times do we have solstice in a year? If you know the answer, please drop it on all our social media platforms, as you can see on your screen. And if you get it correctly, you get your prize in the course of the week. My name is Tunde Olaniran. I have to go. Thank you so much for being there. Next week's another time, we'll discuss something else with another guest. But until then, bye-bye.